The PDF downloads of new books 2 and 6 are in the links below the description of this video, including a link to the website DuaneTheGreatWriter.net, where new books 1 to 10 can be purchased from lulu.com in paperback, and the Kindle editions from Amazon.co.uk. New Book 2, A Journey to Real Freedom, Part 25. The new sound is just for you. You are to keep it a secret from all those you know, until I show you when to tell others. Your intent has stayed with your real course, and that is why you and I meet all the time. You keep deciding we will. Your real desire is to be with the great reality where you came from. As you become more aware through the years, you will come to realize the true reality is you. You have a big future, Duane, but all in good time. You are being trained to take on the real position. Very few Earth people will ever know about it, and what it really is, and what it means. You are very young now, and the way is being prepared for you, he said with a grin. ReBISAR? I asked. Will Mum ever know about any of this? Not this time around. She is the instrument through which you came, because of the events that took place in the past. That will be as far as she goes for now. She has made her choices about how her life is to be, and she is not willing at this time to venture any further, he said. What about anyone in her family? I asked. Not at this time, he replied. Wow, what was I getting into here? I was too young to understand why someone like my mum wouldn't understand what was taking place within her. ReBISAR was right. I tried to tell her so many times about what was going on with my dreams, but what I got from her about the stories I shared, she seemed to think that I just had a good imagination. It rather amazed me, even at my age, how she was not really interested in hearing what I had to say about my adventures. I could tell she did not really think that I was having dreamland experiences according to what she knew. She probably thought they were just dreams that I was having at night, which I began to learn meant nothing to most people. ReBISAR said that most people are asleep to a real life, and that it takes many lifetimes to start to wake up for one to want to pay attention to what is taking place with us. Your dreams are the first part of an extension of yourself. They do give evidence there is more than just your physical existence. But the heart of the matter lies in your real being, the real you, that none of the systems of the world knows about in the true sense. There are those that do profess they do, but once you have a look from the other side, you can see that most of them are just creating a front for others to support them with. There are very few that know what reality is. Most of mankind prays to gods that do not really exist. These are the space gods that have been imagined down through human history. Someday you will assist in teaching others the real connection. For now, your life will go on as it should, until you have become fully aware and are able to provide a real service, he said. Scene 9. Years before I became the teenager, ReBISAR introduced me to many different beings, and one of them was Ursula, the mermaid. One day, while I was at the beach with Mum, and she was at the restaurant, I began to hear ReBISAR talking to me, while I was playing with someone I met at the beach. "Look out in the water, Duane," he said. As I turned to look, I saw a girl with blonde hair waving at me from the water. I could only see her body from the arms up. Then she dove under water, and suddenly I saw that she had a fish's tail. I immediately stood up and ran to the water and walked through the small waves. I looked all around for her for several moments, as she once again came to the surface very close to me. As she looked at me, with only her head out of the water, I could sense an impression from her. "I will see you in your dreams, Duane," she said. Then she was gone. I stood there for the longest time and waited to see if she would return, but she did not. As I turned and walked back to my friend, I began to wonder if I really did see her. When I sat in sand with my friend, I asked him if he saw anything in the water, and he said he saw me looking all around. This was my first encounter with Ursula. That night, when I went to sleep, and I was suddenly on the beach to meet ReBISAR, he was standing with a blonde girl who was older than me. I walked over to them, and she said, "Hello, Duane, I am Ursula," as she stretched out her hand to me. I was surprised to see that she did not have a fish tail. Then she laughed and said she could change and have legs. "You are going to have fun with Ursula, Duane, as she will teach you a lot. It is time for many more adventures. All of this is our secret, and the world will not know for a long time to come. It is not important that others know, because they would just try and destroy what you are experiencing. People on the earth cannot be trusted, and you will go through a lot to learn this, and you will," said ReBISAR. ReBISAR was right. I began to have many experiences with Ursula in my dreams at night. When I would go to sleep and find myself on the beach I like, she would be in the water, swimming around. She also had 2 other sisters. that would show up from time to time. But it was usually Ursha and me. The beach we liked had waves that broke in different areas, and it was Ursha that introduced me to surfing at a young age. When Mum and I would go to Long Beach, I would ride the small waves there on rubber rafts she would rent for me, until I got my own. I had never seen surfing before on the earth, and so this was all new to me. I was about 10 years old when I took my first wave with her in my dreams. Because I could fly in my dreams, standing on the surfboard became very easy. At this time, I did not realize that I would also be surfing on the earth. Ursula could transform her fin into legs and come on the land, and of course we flew together when she wanted to show me around. This was a great time in my life, and Mum never knew about it, and I never told no one. The years went by quickly, and I had experiences all the time with ReBISAR, Ursula, and with so many other real guides ReBISAR introduced me to. During this time, ReBISAR was teaching another fellow, Paul Twitchell. Paul had gone through a lot of different teachings, and then to ReBISAR. Paul was like me. He had been with ReBISAR and the real guides in past lives. Paul and I would share stories about our adventures, and how I was the half-breed Indian Goldie, and he was also a scout for the military, which he shared some of his stories in the books he had written. But that was many years after I first met him. Paul and I used to go and meet ReBISAR in the Himalayan mountains, where he had a hut, and he would teach us. Ursha was sometimes coming to listen, but she liked to take me away with her and go to the many tropical islands we had fun on and surfed. She had known ReBISAR for many lifetimes and was taught by him, so she had heard so much of what ReBISAR was teaching Paul and I. In the other new books, I have written some of the adventures Ursha and I have had together in many different dimensions and levels. To most people, what I am sharing seems too far out, but for those who take the time to read my new books, they will begin a journey to real freedom like no other. Those who are overeducated will find it more difficult to see, understand, realize, recognize, and perceive the true reality life is, the all is. As I am updating this new book too, I am having Skype meetings with people in so many different countries with the new presentation and a worldwide wake-up for everyone. I do the Skype meetings every day with Ava Shah-Is, who stands with me in the new wave is Duane and Ava. We have reached millions of people all over the world with the all-solar research vessel project. You can find us on Facebook. Ask Duane Ava. Ask Ava now.